Okay, so I'm on a Suzuki GSX1250FA, or to you and I, a Bandit 1250 basically. A few updates from the old Bandit. It's a little bit more refined. It's got a full fairing now. It's got this GSXR style headlight on the front, but it's still basically a Bandit. And I just was quite interested to take this out because I'd heard a fair amount of good things about it, the engine especially, and it's a very good price at the moment, about £6,700 on the road. It's a heck of a lot of bike for the money. The handling on this thing is very strange. It feels, I mean, it's a heavy bike, it's like 220 kilos or something, but that shouldn't be an issue. The front end feels like you've got a pillion on the back that's just sitting upright for every corner. So you want to go one way, the bike wants to go another, and you feel a fair bit of resistance when you try tipping it in. And when you're in the corner, it never feels settled. It always feels like the front's wanting to sort of correct itself, even though it doesn't need it. It's the weirdest feeling. At some points it feels quite light, but then you get this sort of wobble where the mass is just transferring itself. It's really disconcerting. I mean, I've not had any problems. I mean, I got my knee down on it last night on a roundabout, but again, leaning it over in the roundabout, it felt like, didn't feel planted or stable. It didn't feel like it was going to wash out or anything. It just felt wobbly. Almost like it was joined in the middle by like a hinge or something. And it's a shame because the bike itself is it's comfortable, it's fast as well. I mean, the engine is fantastic. It's everything that everyone says it is. It's smooth, it's got buttloads of torque, and it's a really good sort of sports touring engine. It's fantastic, and the gearbox as well is incredibly slick. But it's just the bloody handling of this thing. It's weird. And again, it's not just that I always ride sport bikes and this is a sports tourer. I've ridden a few sports tourers quite recently. I rode the new XJR1300 the other week, and it handled a lot better than this did, and held its weight a lot better. And likewise, I've ridden a few adventure bikes recently. I rode the DL650, I rode the DL1000 V-Strom, and both of those bikes are better handling than this on the turn-in, even with their massive 19-inch front wheels. So it's really bugging me, this. Let's see what it's like on a nice British B road. This bike does have ABS. It does cut in on the back quite a lot, but you don't ever really feel it on the front. Suspension is nice and soft. I guess maybe that does affect the handling a little bit on the corners, but it's very good on roads like this. It's difficult because you won't really be able to see how this handles from this video. You're probably watching this thinking, oh, it looks alright. But I can feel it like bucking and weaving like through the corners. And ultimately it's getting through the corner, it's sticking through the corner alright. But it just doesn't give me confidence. I mean, I know it's not a sport bike, but it's a sports touring bike, and you do this sort of stuff on a sports touring bike. Okay, to be honest, when you're up to speed, it's actually a little bit better. But like, this is where you notice it. It's sort of this sort of speed, like 30, 35 or whatever. So if I just sort of go right here, and then left, just wobble, wobble, wobble. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's really weird. It's just the chassis geometry. It's not the tyres. The tyres are new. When you decide to tip it into a corner, it's almost like it's thinking about it. And then when you stick it in, it's like, okay, I've got it. Okay, you can let it open now. And then it's almost like a bit of a delay. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh, because this is a cheap bike, and it is a pretty basic bike, which is why it's cheap. It's a pretty old design, but My 1994 BFR 750 handled much better than this, and it was about the same weight as well. It's great on stuff like this though. Maybe I'm looking at this completely wrong. Maybe I'm trying to look at this like a super sports bike or something, and realistically it's not. At the moment I'm really comfortable. The seat is fairly hard compared to the DLs I was riding, but it's soft enough, and I've been in the seat for about an hour in this thing and it feels comfy enough. So yeah, the engine is what dominates this bike really. It is a brilliant engine. It's incredibly smooth, no vibrations, pulls in pretty much any gear. It's mated to a really nice gearbox, feels really slick. Seems to be a bit of a trend I'm noticing with Suzuki gearboxes, they all seem to be really slick. Yeah, this thing just takes off. Just pull the throttle and just ride that big wave of torque. This bike seems to perform better when it's going quickly. At slow speed it feels a little bit cumbersome and not particularly well balanced. On the sort of medium speed corners, it feels pretty good. But yeah, still feels a little bit top heavy, and that's even with a quarter of a tank of fuel. I'll do. Yeah, just whereas like most of the other bikes I've ridden the last couple of weeks, you can stick it into the corner, you pick your line, stick it into the corner, and it holds the line. This doesn't hold the line. I mean, I'm not backsliding a little bit there. Front end does feel quite light over the bumps. It's surprising considering how heavy this is. There's a gravel in the road. Yeah, I just really don't feel comfortable chucking this thing into the corner. It just feels like I'm riding it twisted. It's a shame, it's got this stonking motor, but doesn't really doesn't have the handling to match the engine. That was quite a fun road actually. I think I'm going to turn around and do that again. I'm going to do it again! The other silly thing about this bike, if I go full lock, my hand is now trapped under the lever. That horn does actually touch the tank. Same on this side as well. Oh no, not quite. But yeah, I can push the horn without actually pushing the button. I think once I got used to the sort of way this thing handles, I can see, you know, the qualities that this bike has. It is extremely comfortable, it's incredibly smooth. It feels solid as well. I mean, you know, there's no squeaks and rattles and no vibrations everywhere. It's got some nice touches to it as well. You've got a hydraulic clutch, you've got span adjustment on the clutch and the brake. The wind protection is actually pretty good. The lights are really good. I rode it in the dark the other day and yeah, it works really well. Pillion provision's good. I took my mate on the back the other day. reluctantly. He doesn't like going on the back. I'm kind of the same. I'm not a very good passenger. So yeah, for 6,800 quid, it's hard to beat. As long as you're not looking for the last word in super sharp handling, this bike is a bargain. Brakes are okay, they do the job. It's not quite as much bite to them as like a proper sport bike, but they bring it to a halt sharp enough. A friend of mine knows a lot of weight to this bike. I think it's about 220 kilos, something like that. Yeah, again, I still don't feel comfortable tipping it in. It's a bit slippery on these roads still. Again, I'm just keeping it in one gear now and just rolling on and off, nice and relaxing. A little bit of a dive under brakes, but other than that, it's doing reasonably well on these sort of bumpy roads. Second gear is sweet. Yeah, the torque in this thing is addictive. It's what dominates the whole experience of this bike really, is just the engine and the torque. It actually makes quite a nice engine noise once you rev it out. I get the impression there is a lot of tuning potential with this engine. Look at the cars just speed up when they see there's a bike behind them. You're not fast, out of the way. Diesel in the middle of the road. I think on the whole for the price, it's a pretty good bike. It's a lot of performance for the money, but you just get the impression that if they just spent a tiny bit more money sorting out the handling, this would be a much more complete bike. Because really, honestly, this is got probably some of the worst, one of the worst turning, one of the worst handling bikes I've been in quite a while. People might say I'm being a bit harsh with that, but and obviously I've ridden my my two-stroke Yamaha RX. Go on. But it's all relative, you know. This is a new bike, a sports touring bike, and it handles like a bike from the 1980s. Sorry if I upset any GSX1250 owners with this, but I'm sorry, it's not the best handling bike, and I know handling isn't everything, especially when you've got like a cruiser or something like that. But this isn't. This is a sports tourer. So I think what I'm going to do is at some point try and test ride a few other GSXs and just see if it's an isolated incident, whether it is just this bike. It shouldn't be, because this bike is pretty much perfect. It's pretty much a new bike. It's only got 1,500 miles on it or something. So there's nothing wrong with the bike dynamically, as far as I can tell, in terms of mechanically, sorry. That's the thing, because this bike's so quiet, like you can hear yourself, you can hear the brake pads biting, you can hear like every little bit of road noise and every bit of engine noise. Right, I'm not used to that. All I can usually hear with my bike is just the exhaust. So all I can ever hear is